She is an awesome personal trainer and friend of the show. As you might remember, she was on a few months ago, episode 39. Is that right, Nicole?
I think so.
Episode 39.
I'll take your word for it.
Where she told us all about how to stay healthy in midlife. So it's so important to stay active and from whatever place you're at. You don't have to be a marathon runner, but there are things you can do to make sure that we head into the next half of life healthier, happier, and living our best life, which is what we love here at Missing Middle Road Trip. So Michelle, finally enough, is coming to us today because we're all at home and we're sitting a little bit more, I think, than we used to. Especially since Ozark is on streaming and Tiger King and all that good stuff. So today we're going to do a quick workout with Michelle to help us move a little bit more and be flexible. So before we jump into that, Michelle, who are we? I know you're not Michelle Nicole. Who are we?
We know who Michelle is because you did an awesome job.
Is this a trick?
Right? Wait, what? So I'm Nicole.
And I'm Janine.
And we are entrepreneurs, wives, moms, and women who are fearlessly navigating the middle of life. We created a community of women over 40 who embrace the past and appreciate where we are now and take action to live our best life because it is all about the journey. Welcome, Michelle. It's great to see you.
Hey, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, ladies.
So before we start, why is it important that we stay moving in midlife?
Well, moving in midlife, moving right now is so critical. I think we have a lot of stagnant energy going on right now with our current situation. And by being physically active, it helps to keep that mental health in check. It helps to keep us moving forward and to remember that there is another side to this. And we want to be our healthiest version when we get there.
Yeah, when we're out. Yes, when we're back out there. Absolutely. To find some silver lining here, however we can, even though it's very serious. And before we start, I just want to give a shout out and say thank you to all the medical professionals who are doing their hard work.
Yep.
And everyone who's making the world still run. People working at the Stop and Shop and Big Y and supermarkets and delivering packages. Like, thank you for putting yourself at risk. So
absolutely.
So what do we need today, Michelle, to get going?
Everyone just needs a sturdy chair. That's about it. It doesn't matter if you have your bra on or not. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. This is a super easy workout for beginners, safe for everybody, and it's really just designed to correct a lot of the issues that we encounter from sitting too much.
Cool. Let's go.
So let's jump right in. All right. So real quick, 101, why sitting is such an issue. Basically, a lot of our muscles become shortened and inactive when we sit too much, especially when we sit watching Netflix. I know that one of my favorite ways to sit is with a leg tucked under me like this, or kind of like to the side, or because none of us are actually sitting in chairs like this when we're watching TV, right?
Yeah, and you're hunched over, right? You're all
hunched over,
and your back is curled.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Your whole body's basically like a C, with your head leaning forward, your arms rounding forward. Our hip flexors become tight. All of these things become issues when we go to stand up and actually move. And when over time we try to just go about our daily lives. That's why people get a lot of injuries, is because of postural related issues. And sitting too much is definitely one of them. Our circulation can slow down, so that becomes an issue. And it's really just Newton's law. Object in motion stays in motion. Object at rest stays at rest. So if we are sitting for too long, we are going to become sluggish. We're not going to want to get up as much. So it's that much more important now that we are hitting that pause button on Netflix, because what is it, like a 10-second count before the next episode? That doesn't give you, they get you with that.
Just enough time to race over and pee or get a snack.
Exactly. It makes you miss the days of commercials when you got to go to the bathroom and go get a glass of water, and they trap you with that. So we have to be smarter.
Get up and change the channel, right? You have to get up and physically turn the dial to change the channel.
It was way more activity than we're getting now, ladies, right? So it's that much more important just to really maintain good posture and maintain our range of motion with all of our joints. And that's basically what this workout is all about today. So we can get started. Everybody's sitting up nice and tall in their chairs. So we want to think about a a string attached to our head, pulling through so that our spine's really, really tall, shoulders are relaxed, chest is lifted. And think about having a tennis ball between your chin and your chest so that you have a nice lifted chest, nice lifted neck, everything's where it's supposed to be. And we're gonna start with our right side. So we're gonna take our right hand, we're gonna take our right foot, and we're going to basically point our foot, tip your hand down, and then flex your foot, curl your toes back, curl your fingers back. And we're gonna do that again. So pointing and flexing our hands and our feet. So we're working on ankle mobility. We're making sure our wrists are set because a lot of times we're kind of like curled up. We're gonna do that one more time. So curl your toes back towards you and then point them forward. Good. And you can lower your foot in your hand, take a little break, shake it out.
I'm sweating already.
Right? I'm telling you, when you're not moving and you start doing anything, it's like, whoo.
Your body.
Next thing we're gonna do are some circles. So we're gonna stick to that same side, the right side, and we're gonna lift our foot up and we're just gonna make circles. So little circles with your foot, same thing with your hand. So your hands and wrists are going in one direction, circle, circle, circle. Can you see my dirty sock? And reverse direction.
I'm saying, you can't hear it, but my ankle is crack, 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 crack. Lovely.
Our joints need to move. So good. Let's lower that. Oh, my knee just cracked putting it down. So we're going to take our right hand in front of us, cross it to the opposite shoulder, and we're going to just stretch that shoulder. So take your opposite hand, put it either on either side of your elbow. Just give a little stretch, relax your shoulders down so that you're not tightening up. And just deep breaths in and out, making sure you're not holding your breath. It's so weird. A lot of people tend to hold their breath when they do certain activities. I don't know why, but we can't do that. Yeah. So take that same hand and extend it up to the ceiling. And then reach across your body like you're reaching to the opposite side of the room. So really lengthen through the side right there. That should feel really good.
I'm opposite of you guys. No, I'm not.
Ah.
It's all right. You're good.
We're gonna do each side, so it's all good. And then come back to center. Take that hand and bring it to your opposite shoulder. And very gently, gently tug on your head so that you can stretch through the side of your neck there. Good.
It feels so good.
Stretching is like flossing your teeth. It's something that we know we should be doing. We can release that and bring that hand down. It's something we know we should be doing, but that we tend to skimp out on. But when we do it, we feel really good. So it's kind of important to remember that we need to prioritize that. Yeah. So we're going to take that same hand and we're going to cross it across our waist to the opposite side. And we're just going to twist behind us. So we're just going to do a gentle spine twist. So one hand's on the back of your chair, other hand's to the opposite hip, and you're sitting up nice and tall.
And are you looking? You should be looking over
you should be over your shoulder. Side. Yeah. Yeah. Good. And then very slowly twist back to center. And then we're just going to do the same thing other side. So we're going to take our left foot up in the air, our left hand out. We're going to point and flex. So toes pointing forward, fingers pointing back when you're flexing. Good. And you just want to do this even once or twice. I always tell people to think of our four-legged friends. Every time they change position, they stretch.
That's true.
And it's something that we don't tend to do. Good. And one more time, pointing and flexing. Good. And then let's make some little circles. So foot goes around in a circle, hand goes around in a circle. We tend to forget about our ankles a lot of times too. And like when I demonstrated sitting with one leg tucked under, a lot of times we just get stuck in that position. Good. In reverse direction with your circles.
Yeah. I was reading somewhere that tight hips has something to do with anxiety. Have you ever heard that?
I actually have heard that. Good. We can lower that. I have a son who deals with anxiety. We're going to extend one arm up, reach to the opposite corner of the room. And our hip flexors are actually connected to the part of our brain that deals with fight or flight response. Oh. And that's our response like in times of trauma and things like that. So bring your fingertips to that opposite ear and then very gently pull your neck to stretch through the side of your neck. And so when our hip flexors become shortened and tightened from sitting too long, then think about it. If you're about to bolt up to flight, to run away, you can't if your hip flexors are too tight. So it actually does affect our mental health to have our hip flexors in a tightened position, which I found to be fascinating, to be honest, because it just shows that connection again between our physical bodies and our mental health. So we're going to take that, I'm opposite you, so we're going to take that left arm out, cross it over, shoulder stretch. Relax through the shoulders, don't tighten up. Still sitting up nice and tall.
I just put my foot up for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay. Doesn't matter what side you're doing as long as you're doing a side.
Well, it's a nice cognitive challenge during all this, right?
Live video opposites.
And then we're just going to bring that arm across. That other hand's going to come up and we're just going to twist through the spine very gently, sitting up nice and tall. Gaze is looking over your shoulder. Good. And then very gently come back to center. Good job. So let's show our lower body a little love here. We're going to do a nice glute stretch. So we're going to take our right foot and we're going to cross it over our left knee.
Yeah, I'll be
tight, sister.
Yeah.
Tight.
Very, very gently with your hands, press down on that knee. Gentle, 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 just to deepen that stretch. Still sitting up nice and tall, chest is lifted. I'm a little tight myself, I have to say.
Michelle, is it good practice, good form to, if you can, fit your exercise in the morning? Just because we're waking up tight.
I definitely would say stretch in the morning because, like I said, again, thinking about our pets and just anytime we change position, I think it's important to stretch and to even just stretch organically. If something feels tight, work through that and find a way to stretch it. But I think people should fit their workouts in whatever way works for them because some people are morning people, some people aren't, some people's schedules are crazy. So it really just depends. I would never say like everyone has to exercise in the morning because some people are just not active at that time and that's okay. So
right. But I like the idea. I like that idea of stretching in the morning, at least when you're getting out of bed to do a few things.
Yeah,
before you start your day.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually super tight in the morning and a lot of people tend to sleep funky. And it's the same thing as if we sit with a leg tucked under. If we're sleeping with a leg, you know, I tend to sleep all weird, you know, like a marionette or something. So I definitely benefit from stretching in the morning. So it does make a difference. We're going to take that same leg, we're going to slide to the end of the chair. So we're going to take that right leg back. Can you see me okay?
Yep.
So you're just.
So your toes, your
you're
heels
up on your,
up.
Yep, you're up on, so front leg, weight in the heel, back leg, you're up on your toe, sitting up nice and tall, and you're just stretching through the hip flexor of that right side. So slide your leg a little bit further back and deepen that stretch. So you should have your foot extended as far back as you can get it.
So it's like a runner's stretch there?
Yes, exactly. But from a seated, supported position. So again, nice lift through your chest. I feel like I have to slide over.
I'm glad I have a sturdy chair.
For real though, it makes you don't want a rolling chair for this. Yeah. Good. So very gently bring that foot forward.
So we're doing like a seated lunge.
Exactly. Yep.
Hey, I want to say hi to Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Thanks for watching.
Oh, people. Hey, Barbara. So we're going to take that same leg sitting on the edge of the chair, and you're going to just dig the heel. So I have my foot flexed and extended in front of me. So your foot's leg's nice and long. So you're stretching through the hamstring of that right leg.
And your bum is on the edge of the chair.
Bum's on the edge of the chair. So you should really feel it in the back of the leg there. Hamstrings get super duper tight from sitting.
So kind of like doing a little like half split type of thing. Am I
kind
doing
of
like a half split? Am I doing this wrong?
I like it. Good.
Yeah, I'm doing my own thing over here.
I love it. Slide that foot back in. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So take that left foot up on the opposite knee. Sit up nice and tall. Very, very gently take your hands and press down on that knee. Stretch through the glute, your hip flexor. So there's this thing called dead butt syndrome or gluteal amnesia. I live with all boys, so I like saying dead butt syndrome better.
I like that too.
It's a common effect from sitting too much. Our glutes basically become unable to fire up the way that we need them to. And we need to do exercises to kind of take care of that. So it's super important because our glute muscles are very important in functioning.
Oh yeah.
And it protects your back, doesn't it?
And yeah, a lot of low back issues are related to having glutes being active. And people think it's just the low back, but it's actually, our body's a fascinating chain. So usually when we have an issue, it's not necessarily that muscle group or that area that has the issue in it.
Okay,
So we're going to slide.
done with that stretch. Okay.
Yeah, slide to the edge of the chair. We're going to do the hip flexor stretch on the other side. So one foot's forward, weights in the heel, other leg sliding behind you. So you're on the edge of the seat, kind of straddling it. Slide the leg back as far as you can get it comfortably. Sit up nice and tall. And you should feel it in the front of that hip flexor.
So the leg that's on the outside of your body right now is behind you, and the inside leg is in front of you, right? Like a
yes. Yeah.
Okay. I got it.
I know it's hard because you can't see our feet on the video. So
I know. And then because we're opposite too, this is a nice cognitive challenge here. Good. Slide that foot back in. Sit in the center of your chair again. And you're going to extend that left leg out. Flex the toes. Lean forward slightly, stretching the hamstring right there.
All right, I get it. Well, so imagine me doing step aerobics 20 years ago. I was always like opposite.
Oh, yeah. That's the way I am in Zumba classes. And they're like, to the right. And I'm shooting to the other way, facing the wall.
Everybody.
Good. Slide that foot back in. So we're going to come to a standing position. I'll make sure everyone can see me. You're going to turn your chair to the side.
Okay.
How's that? Is that better? Okay.
Oh, we're standing. I'm
Perfect.
like,
I'm standing on our chair to one side. So we're just going to march in place.
Your head's
super,
cut off,
super
Michelle,
easy.
a little bit.
Easy, but we want to get that circulation going. We look so cute, ladies.
Nicole's a dancer, so she is like,
oh yeah. She got that sassy walk. Good job. All right, let's come to our chair. And we're going to address some of that gluteal amnesia I was talking about. So we're going to do some lean backs. I like to pretend that I'm in a swimming pool when I do this. So basically what that does is it helps you to create your own resistance with a lot of these moves. So envisioning, and of course, who doesn't want to be in a pool right now? But envisioning that you're in water really helps you to connect your mind with your muscle and help you to make the most of the move. Okay. So you're going to stand with your hands on the chair. You're going to scoot your butt back. Let me come forward a little bit. Scoot your butt back like you're sitting in a chair.
So are your legs and feet touching like together, or are they apart a little bit?
They're hip distance apart.
Hip distance apart, okay.
And weights in your heels. So you're going to scoot your butt back like you're sitting in a chair. Make sure not to tilt. So you don't want an arch in your low back. You want to make sure that you have a nice pelvic tilt there. And you're just going to scoot back like you're sitting in a chair, like you're hovering over a toilet in the ladies' room.
So we're bending our knees, right?
Bending your knees, yep. Look and make sure that you can see your toes because you don't want your knees coming forward over your toes. And then you're going to come forward, squeezing your butt super tight, and then come up on your toes. Good. Lower down your heels, and we'll do that again. So butt comes back like you're sitting in a chair. Bend your knees to lower. Nice little hold there. Drive through your butt muscles to come to the top. Squeeze your butt at the top. Up on your toes.
Don't forget to breathe. I'm just holding my breath.
I know, I was holding my breath too.
Isn't it the strangest thing? I don't know why people do it, but it tends to happen. Let's do it one more time. So butt comes back, lower your knees. Make sure you see those toes. Drive through your heels, come up, squeeze your butt tight, tight, tight at the top, and then up on your toes. Good.
So it's
And
kind of
lower
like
down.
a skiing position, right? Like if you were
Yeah,
skiing downhill, where your
very
back is
similar.
straight and tipped forward. Okay.
Yep, very similar. We can lower down your heels. Good. So let's turn and face one hand on the side of the chair. And we're going to do some, I want to make sure you can see me, some kind of like Jane Fonda leg lifts. So we're going to pretend,
Woo!
because why not? And because this side motion here, anything that we do to extend our leg out to the side addresses that part of our butt that tends to become inactive when we sit too much. So we want to do exercises that really address that. So standing up nice and tall, you're going to shift your weight into one side, so slight bend in that leg. And you're going to extend that leg out to the side, so outer thigh lift, pretend you're in a pool, and come back to center. Good.
So the leg nearest the chair is slightly bent.
Slightly bent. Yep, you just don't want to lock it out. Good. So if you think about pushing through water and then pulling back through the water, then you're really working outer thigh on the way up and inner thigh on the way down.
And your knee is your leg that you're lifting should be straight knee, right?
Yes. Yep. Toes pointing forward. Yep. And then back down. Good. And then out. What I love about this is that it truly is safe for everybody.
So we were talking about Jane Fonda, but I know you've in the past that some of those exercises, if they're done properly, the crazy swinging thing, they're actually like the classic things that you should do, right?
Absolutely. And that's what's kind of cool about it is that it's foundational stuff. It's really stuff we should be doing anyways, and it's going to help with everything else that we're doing. But it's back to basics 101. It's just these simple moves. And again, these are moves you can do in your home that you can do anywhere and that aren't going to be too taxing for somebody who's just starting to work out. So
Michelle, sorry, just a question on form on that. So I assume we should try to keep our shoulders kind of square and not tipped, right?
Yeah.
Like square forward, and then pull in our stomachs, right?
Yeah.
So we're not because I know as moms, it's very easy to push out our stomachs and not tighten our core when we're doing stuff.
Absolutely.
So we should be pulling all that in, right?
Holding all that in. And a lot of times that lift through the chest is really what can help engage through there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people talk about, and I talked about this when we had our podcast before, about bracing through your core. And they say envision being punched in the stomach and you have to brace and hold. Well, if you're punched in the stomach, then you're going to round forward and just pull in right there and probably hold your breath.
Right.
So I teach my clients to zip through their core. And we kind of can envision, those claw machines that kids lose all their money in but are determined to beat.
Whose money? Whose money? Wait a minute. Whose money do they lose?
Yeah. Our money.
Yep. Good correction there. So if we think of a claw machine, that's our pelvic floor muscles right there. And they gather around, as much as the claw gathers around, in theory, a toy, and pulls up. That's where our core starts, is our pelvic floor. So we squeeze through there like a claw machine, and that claw machine pulls up. So then we pull in through here, we pull in through here, and then we lift, and then we have everything zipped and engaged. So we think about a zipper coming up rather than bracing. That way we actually open up through our lungs, expand through our body, and we're in a better position of posture to actually engage our core the way that we should be. Especially as ladies, we know pelvic floor issues are important.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So let's flip our chair to the other side. And we'll do some of those lifts on the other side. Let me position myself. So standing nice and tall, slight bend in that stance leg, and extending that leg out like you're in a swimming pool, pulling back through. looking at this weather outside, I would be so happy to be in a pool right
I
now.
was thinking the same thing. That's so funny, Michelle. I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, I cannot wait for summer because this will all be over.
I know. And that's so much of it is that when I'm feeling, especially, I'm thinking rainy days and Mondays kind of vibe today, but it makes us want to be inactive. It makes us want to kind of curl up. And I know I've had those days, but I always think, what we're doing now is going to turn into a habit. So all of these days of quarantine is basically how we're going to be behaving when we're done with this. So do we want healthier habits or do we want, a lifetime addiction to cookie dough? or
Right. Yeah, people I see that people are drinking more and just generally because people are worried and
exactly
depressed, down, whatever.
Yep. And our coping mechanisms, I get it. Like I've definitely been, we can stop with our leg lifts too. I've definitely been, I ate ramen noodles last week for the first time in like 30 years. And I didn't really enjoy them, but I was like, yep, I've hit my bottom. Like, what is going on here?
I was going to say, are they as good as you remember?
It kind of for a second brought me back to college and I was like, oh, I remember this smell and this taste. And then after I was so bloated, I was like, okay, I'm over that. But I didn't beat myself up over it. I was kind of like, I don't know, it sounds comforting. Let's give it a whirl. So there's a certain trial and error. We can come back to a seated position. There's a certain trial and error in all of this, but I think for some people we have to be super careful because I haven't seen any stats on this, but I can only imagine the percentage of relapses for people with addictions and people with issues. And it's stuff to be aware of. What we are doing now is creating a habit. So if it's something that is going to be a trigger, stay away from it.
Yeah.
If it's something that you can kind of say, I still have control over this, and I can, like I said, put the cookie dough down, which I actually had to say to a friend the other day. I was on the phone with her and I said, you literally need to just stop eating cookie dough.
Right.
Because every time she did, she felt sick.
Yeah. You need to
like it's not helping.
Right. And that's important that she was able to reach out to you because we all are feeling isolated. And we have to get outside, get fresh air. We have to exercise. We have to reach out to friends, and
I think it's important too. If you guys, have been through the supermarkets, the shelves that are completely picked bare are all the processed foods, all the canned goods, all the crap that is on the inside of the store. But I'll tell you what, guys, the fruits and vegetables are stocked. That's where we should be shopping. We should be, they're still having sales where you can buy one bag of potatoes, get two free, or search those sales, because I know people say, oh, fresh foods can be expensive. And I know a lot of people are on a budget. I know a lot of people are laid off right now or their hours are cut back, but you can still buy things and make big batches of soups and stews and things that will go a long way. That is all that healthy foods that are going to feed your body during this time. And sugar is the worst thing we could be eating right now because it knocks your immune system. And if we're trying to stay healthy and fight this virus, that's really something we need to pay attention to. And like you said, and moving your body,
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking with my kids about this actually. You remember Bob Harper from The Biggest Loser? And he had a heart attack, I don't even know how many years ago. And so many people were like, oh, if he's this active and he still has a heart attack, forget it. I'm not going to work out. It's not worth it. And I'm like, he survived his heart attack because he was so healthy. So I think that's something to remember too. I mean, in this situation of so many things being out of our control, our health is within our realm of control to a certain extent, obviously, but to a very large extent. So if these people who are getting over Corona are probably healthier or doing things to be healthier, and do we want to risk that? Do we want to create this environment in our bodies that's sluggish and not eating the right foods and that kind of thing? Or do we want to be ready for the fight if, God forbid one of us gets it and we want to get over it. We want to, do everything within our power to control the situation. And our health is definitely a huge part of it.
Right. It is something we can control. It is something we can control. I mean, unless you have a chronic illness or something like that, but
yeah, absolutely.
And the moving is in our control.
I agree. Exactly. And what a better way to begin a rainy Monday than with Michelle Crean and moving our bodies. So. Honestly, when Janine said that we were booking the podcast live, I was like, oh, there was part of me that was like, wow, okay, that's early to like be moving on camera in front of people. But then the other thing was like, yeah, it's going to get me going. It's going to start my week. It's going to build that habit, and I'm all in.
It's mindset. It's all mindset. And not just now, all the time. Our mindset is so important. And are we doing things to create a healthy mindset, or are we doing things to create a stagnant mindset? And that's just a question I think we always have to ask ourselves, and be compassionate and forgiving. I mean, like I said, we're not going to be perfect all the time, but if ultimately we're doing things to control the things we can control and to prioritize our health, we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Good. Well said. Well said.
And look at us stalling.
I know.
No, don't go, ladies.
So what do you have for us? We're about at 30 minutes, so I know we're gonna just do something quick. But do you have any other like quickie things that people can do to stay moving and flexible?
Quickie things to stay moving. Honestly, like I said, just don't be stuck in any one position for too long. Make sure that you stretch when you shift positions. That's always a big thing. And just find ways to stay moving. Like we, in my house, we're binge watching shows, but we're not doing it for hours on end. We'll, the kids will go to school, I'll do some work, and then we've been watching The Office again. And so we'll watch 1 or 2 episodes, and then we'll go about something else. So it's never one position. So I think just finding ways to constantly stay moving, get outside for a walk. Today is not the day, but I've been walking daily, and honestly, I think it's been saving everything, because just getting away from my kids and their like boy talk, getting out of my house, it's helped my mental and physical health. So there's simple ways. It doesn't have to be a big jumpy workout. It can be just as simple as stretching. It can be just as simple as shifting positions, things like that. It doesn't have to be anything over the top. Just find the ways to keep moving. Like I said, it helps physically and mentally.
Yeah, that's good.
And I've heard a lot of people even shifting their work environment at home. If you're stuck on the laptop a lot, make yourself a standing desk.
Yes.
Even at home, so that you're not sedentary in your chair for all those hours. And our kids too, because our kids are different. They used to get up in between classes and go to PE and whatever. And now my kids are doing PE written packets. And about how much calories they burned when they got up to get a snack.
Sitting there doing packets.
Right. So to make sure that they are moving too, because they are stuck on the laptops doing their online classes. So we have to remind them. I'm blessed that my girls have been doing online dance classes.
That's
so
awesome.
A few times a week, their studio goes online through Zoom, and they're all together. They can see their whole class and connect, but just move. And I said, guys, it's mandatory. You're doing it. Like you have to move your body. You can't just be sitting around.
Absolutely. So. And we have the power as the parents too, to set that example. And that's the other thing. Do we want to teach our kids that in times of crisis, we just sit and watch TV for hours? Or do we want to teach them in times of crisis that, yes, you do. If you need that break, take it. But it's a break. It's not your all day coping mechanism. So to teach our kids, hey, my mom's outside moving, I'll probably get outside too. And if they don't, then you make them.
You make them. One of my daughter's teachers, like as an assignment, has been making them go out, take a walk, and listen to a certain podcast and take a picture of themselves doing it.
Oh, there you go.
And send it in. So
we love that, because she's listening to podcasts. How awesome is that? And we'll be like, I was listening to my mom on her podcast.
Oh my God, she'd be like, boring. Yeah, that's
right.
Awesome.
This midlife, schmidlife.
That's right. So Michelle, where can people find you if they were to connect with you and learn more? I know you're starting to do online stuff, so tell us about that.
Okay, so I'm super excited about this, ladies. So I have been busy filming instructional workout videos, and I have an online free app that you can download.
Nice.
And workouts can be delivered that way. More information about that will be to come on my Facebook and Instagram pages. But it's super fun because the workouts get delivered through the app. You get to watch the instruction on how to do them, check in with me so I know that you're doing them, fire any questions my way. And then there's weekly progressions that get sent through the app. So it's really exciting. And I think just kind of like the new wave of working out too, where if people can't be face to face, then they have the option of having the instruction, which is super important, having the personalization, which is super important because not every workout is for everybody, and having the accountability, which again is super important because even this, I don't think I'd be out of my sweatpants if I didn't have this schedule. So we all need it, right?
And that's amazing for you in the fitness industry because your bread and butter to support your family is teaching and going to people's homes and doing classes. So the fact that you were able to pivot and figure out how to do this and still make income for your family to do this. I know we're offering this as a little freebie to our messy middlers, but yeah, for people to hire you to be able to do the workouts in their own home is amazing. So, and they can do it on their own time, which is perfect.
Exactly. Anytime, anywhere. It's kind of cool. I, get excited thinking, this is great. I get to just be in people's pockets. Yay.
It's sad. So we'll make sure we post that. Like as soon as it's ready to go, we'll post
Absolutely.
it so everyone can connect with you and they can sign up and get fit together, right?
Absolutely. And I have lots of offers. I realize money is tight for people, and I do have some, nice free back to basics things that I'm going to be offering, and walking challenges, things like that. I just finished up one last week because we do. I mean, we have to be taking care of each other.
Yeah.
I saw somebody posted on Facebook the other day. They did a walking Zoom challenge where they each walked 5 miles, but they did it together on FaceTime. They were like a normal walking group, but they did it together. And I thought, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's fun just to, I mean, it's an awful time and we all know that, but being forced out of our comfort zones, I know we've talked about this, just going live and things like that, and just finding ways to be creative. It's kind of exciting to have that challenge posed to us because how often do we get creative as adults? How often do we dream outside the box and things like that? We get stuck. And so this is really, for myself, I know for a lot of people, provided ways for them to find unique ways to reach out to people. And it's been kind of exciting in that regard. And I mean, honestly, we're just gripping to anything that makes this bearable right now.
Right.
And I think the coolest thing is that you can reach people that are outside of Western Mass.
Exactly.
Everybody can find you and tune in no matter what state they're in, no matter what country, technically. So
exactly. So it's exciting, and it's something I've wanted to do, and now I've had the fire kind of lit under my tush to get it done because it's the only option right now. I can't come into people's homes. So I can, via this app and via technology. Some of my clients, I'm just doing this. We're Zooming our sessions that way. Some clients I'm just talking to as they're walking. So I'm on my walk just on the phone with them. And it's helping to keep them accountable and getting out. So it's really nice to find ways and just show people there's always a way to get that workout in.
That's awesome.
In the meantime, what is your website and where can they find you? Facebook, Instagram, etc.
My website is empowermentpersonaltraining.com. On Facebook, I'm Empowerment-Michelle Crean, and on Instagram, I'm at EmpowermentMC.
Cool. Excellent. Go find it out. But thanks everybody for joining us today. Hope everyone's doing okay. And
stay well.
You want to say anything? Say goodbye?
Me?
No, or I was like, me or who?
You.
Thank you guys so much for being with us today, and we hope you enjoyed jumping into the shotgun position with us in the convertible and with Michelle, and hope you got some out of this for your Monday morning stretch, and we wish you all safety and health. And again, thanks to those on the front lines regardless of whatever your essential position is, we appreciate you. So thanks so much. And we'll tune in soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.